Most financial experts want you to believe that investing is risky. The Rich Dad Company says investing is not risky.
So there's basically 4 asset classes that makes a person rich, and there's lots of more, the subheadings and all this.
Being a real estate investor is really being an entrepreneur.
My poor dad always said to me, go to school and get a high-paying job. That's not wealth. That's a job. You can get fired, you know. And then my rich dad always says, work for assets. So there's basically 4 asset classes that makes a person rich, and there's lots of more, the subheadings and all this. But number 1 is a business. The richest young guys today start companies. It's called Facebook, Google, Apple, stuff like that, you know. Number 2 is real estate. So what my rich dad taught me is a combination of being an entrepreneur in business and entrepreneur in real estate. It's that combination is I pay no tax, and I make a lot more money. Okay, so a lot of guys say, well, I have a business. I say, well, how much real estate you got? Without real estate, you pay tax. That's the problem. And then there's paper, which is stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and savings. That's what most people should be in. The reason savings are good, I mean, paper is good, like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, are liquid. You make a mistake and get in and out real quick. Called liquid. The trouble with these two, you make a mistake, you're there forever. Can't get in and out. So that's why you gotta be very smart before you go in. And the last is commodities. And you know, that's why I own oil. And as the price of oil goes down, people say, are you losing money? I said, no, because in the US, if you deal in oil, you get tax breaks. So I invest $1 million in oil, I get 800,000 back. So I get 80% return day 1. So oil is very, very profitable. That's what, but I don't invest in oil stocks, very different. Okay, so if oil goes to $20 a barrel, I'm still cash flowing, still making money. So it's at about 40 right now. Hope it doesn't go too much farther, but I still make money, okay? And then the other commodities, you know, there's 4 precious metals. What the 4 are: gold, silver, guns, bullets, okay? That's why I live in Arizona, not California. California, they don't let you carry guns. Everybody in Arizona carries. And the reason for that is because you have something, somebody's going to steal it.
Gold and silver is God's money. It's money made by God. And then in 1971, the U.S. government, under President Nixon, took God's money and turned it into man-made money. Never in the history of the world has this ever happened. In 1971, the U.S. and Nixon convinced the entire world to replace gold and silver with paper money. This stuff. Cash is trash. So the reason we have so much volatility in the world today is historically, since the time of the Romans and the Greeks and the French and the English and the Germans, every time they have taken God's money, like silver here, and replaced it with man-made money, there's been economic volatility. Now the problem is, so the dollar is going to keep dropping. So one of the reasons I can predict what's going to happen is I can predict the dollar will keep dropping simply because the U.S. government and now the euro, the European central banks, are printing so much of this trash. So you'll see gold going up in price, oil going up in price, real estate going up in price, because this is trash. So that's what happened in 1971, has happened throughout history. And the reason this current election doesn't make any difference is the only person that can put this back in place is a strong, charismatic leader. People like Julius Caesar, Napoleon. That's why they were such great leaders, was they actually replaced this with this. So there will be more this printed than ever before, which means the dollar keeps coming down and other things keep going up. And that's really what's going to happen. It's predictable. And eventually this will go to its true worth, 0. So all of you savers out there and people trying to save this trash, you're going to lose big time. To me, I've been saying this for a number of years now, silver is the biggest opportunity I have ever seen, bigger than real estate, bigger than anything else. And silver, as we're talking today, 2008, is about $15 an ounce. There's less than 10-year supply worth of silver on planet Earth. The difference between gold and silver is gold is hoarded, silver is consumed. Silver is an industrial precious metal. It is used in cell phones, telephones, computers, electric lights, everywhere. The more information age we become, the more we use silver. And what Michael is saying is that stockpile is at all-time lows, and they're not discovering much more. Poland has about 25% of the world's silver, so you can buy real estate in Poland. But anyway, so when people say,
Mexico too.
Yeah, where am I investing? I say, I'm investing in the world. I say, what do you mean by that? It says, I'm investing in a metal that is consumed throughout the world. So I buy a little gold, but I've been buying silver. Kim and I've been buying silver since it was about $4 an ounce. Most financial experts want you to believe that investing is risky. Well, the Rich Dad Company says investing is not risky. What is risky is not improving your financial intelligence or your financial IQ, having no financial education. So let me give you a few examples. There's two basic types of investors. One is fundamental. I would say Warren Buffett is a fundamental investor. That's income, expense, assets, liabilities. Most people, since they can't read a financial statement, really don't understand the fundamentals. And that's what the cash flow game teaches people, is how to be fundamentals. We also, and that's Cash Flow 101, we have a game called Cash Flow 202. Cash Flow 202 is called technical investing. We all know markets go up and markets go down. Markets go up and markets go down. So the reason the average person thinks investing is risky is because prices go up and then they lose everything. Prices go up and they lose everything. The reason investing is risky is that to be a professional investor, whether it's fundamental or technical, Cash Flow 101 or the 202 game, is you have to use insurance. Look, ladies and gentlemen, you do not drive a car without insurance. You don't buy a house without insurance. Yet the average person putting their money in a stock or a mutual fund or a bond, they don't have insurance. That's what's risky. If you're going to be a professional investor, you have to understand markets go up and down. That's not news. But when markets are up, you buy an insurance policy here in case it goes down. For some people, that's called a put. Or you can put a stop. In real estate, my banker requires me to have disaster insurance. So the point here, ladies and gentlemen, is that investing is not risky. It's taking advice from people who don't know what they're talking about a lot of the time, or people who don't sell you the insurance. That's risky. To put yourself in a stock or a mutual fund without insurance is absolutely risky. It's no more sense than buying a car and not having insurance. So ladies and gentlemen, investing is not risky. Being financially not sophisticated, not educated, and taking advice from people who also believe investing is risky is the riskiest part of investing. Most financial experts will say, invest for the long term in a well-diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds and ETFs. That's horrible advice. The only people that financial advice makes rich are the guys selling you that advice. Investing for the long term in a well-diversified stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETF worked as long as the markets were going up. If the markets are going down, it's going to wipe you out. But remember this, following that advice, investing for the long term in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs doesn't make you rich. It makes the guy selling you stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs rich. So the way young people can get into real estate, given the economy, the markets, and what's going on in the world, is I always recommend taking a simple real estate investment course. In Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I was kind of the antichrist because I said your house is not an asset. I always say the best real estate deal should be less than 1 hour from your house, because real estate is management intensive. It's not like a stock. And when people say, well, I don't have money to invest in real estate, well, you're not supposed to use your money.
That's what the bank's money is for. You see, that's what they should teach you in school. How to use other people's money and use debt to get rich, and how to not pay taxes legally. See, taxes are different for different people. You see, the tax code are incentives telling you what the government wants you to do. You invest in a stock, you don't get too many tax breaks. They need people like me to invest in apartment houses to provide housing. So I get huge tax breaks for investing in housing. But if I buy my own house, I get nothing. So when I say to young people like you, I said, don't do what the old guys did. Don't count on the government, don't take it so easy, and look at this as the greatest challenge of all. If you can, buy a fourplex. You rent one out, right? One side out, even if it's small, but you get 3 other people contributing to your mortgage payment. To me, that's smart. And on top of that, you get appreciation, depreciation, amortization, tax breaks. So your paycheck, you pay no tax on it, but you gotta be smart. I knew I never needed money to be a rich person. You need this to get rich. So all of you have a very good brain if you can train to use it. But if you're trained to look for a job, you'll find a job. If you're trained to look for a deal,